हे राधे ब्रज देवी के चललिते हे नंद सुनो कुदाम श्री गोवर्धन कल्प पाद पतले कालिंदी वने कुता ओशंताविति सर्वतो ब्रजपुरे कैले माविहलो वंदे रूप सनातन रघुयुगो श्रीजीव गोपाल को Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhu is one of the six Goswamis in Gauranga Leela, and he is Sri Rupa Manjari in Sri Braj Leela. Everybody whosoever in the Gaur Leela has a Manjari Swarup or Braj Swarup, you know, that is in Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So they have this two Swarup. One is a Sadhak Swarup, Brahman Swarup, Boy Swarup, or the associate of Mahaprabhu Swarup. Hmm? And another one is in Braj Leela as a Manjari Swarup. And his forefathers, they came from Karnataka. So actually it is mentioned in the scriptures or in the history that Rupa Goswami was actually the Gaura Saraswat Brahmin. They were coming from Gaura Saraswat Brahmin family. And Mora Gram, the Madhaipura in Bengal, they shifted to that place. Sri Rupa appeared in this lineage, which is that of the Yajurvedi Brahmanas descending from the Bhardwaj Rishi, son of Brihaspati. Now, I'm just going to clarify one another very amazing point for you. We have different Brahmins. We have some Brahmanas from North India, some Brahmins from South India. Even in South India, we have different categories of Brahmins. And Brahmins were known from uh, the Vedas they were following. So they used to be um, they used to be uh, Krishna Yajurvedi Brahmins, Shukla Yajurvedi Brahmins. Like in our North India, when we hear Hare Hare Om Sahasrashesha Puruka Sahasraksha Sahasrapat Sabhumim Vishwato Vetva Atadishadashangulam. Like this. We are chanting the mantras in this way. They are the Shukla Yajurvedi. And we are Krishna Yajurvedi. We chant like this. Harihi Om Sahasresha Purushaha Sahasraksha Sahasrapad Sabhumim Vishwato Vitva Atyatrishadashangulam पुरुष एवेदगुम सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च वयम् उतावतसशेषाणः यदन्नेनातिरोहति. So we are chanting like this. So there is a difference. Yajurvedi, Shukla Yajurvedi, Krishna Yajurvedi. Then there were who used to be Vedis, who had studied specific Veda, Dvivedi, who had studied two Vedas, Trivedi, who had studied three Vedas, Chaturvedis, who were expert in all the four Vedas. Although they had studied, but they always used to have one particular Veda which they used to follow. I like the most interesting thing in this entire thing is our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was a Samvedi. So, and sometimes some confusion comes in ISKCON because Mahaprabhu was Samvedi. Our Rupa Goswami was Shukla Yajurvedi, and our Gopal Bhatt Goswami was Krishna Yajurvedi. This is also another thing. That is the reason whenever we see, how Prabhupada had condemned the worship of Ganapati everywhere, right? And no Ganapati, no Ganapati, no Ganapati. And then we Ganapati, we will also, oh, no Ganapati, no Ganapati. You know, we also like that. But our Rupa Goswami, when he is writing the book, that's called Krishna Janmashtami, Tithi Vidhi, then in that, he is starting um his prayer with Gananam Gana Ganapati. Well, there's a shloka actually, which you must have heard, all of you. I don't know that shloka by heart, but it's a very special shloka. This is Om Gan Ganapati Namaha, Om Gananam, Om Ganapati Mahavahe, like that. And there's so many people who, whenever they start chanting, especially Shukla Yajurvedis, they always chant this particular mantra before they start their prayers. So sometimes when people they condemn, hey, you should not be chanting, you should not be chanting the mantra of Ganpati. Please tell them that we are Rupa Nugas and our acharyas were Yajurvedis and they had chanted, so we can chant. For us, Ganpati is not Ganpati, he is the chief commanding officer of Vishnu's army, whose another name is Vishwaksena. क्या नाम है विश्वक सेना विश्वक सेन इज what? ओम शुक्लां भरधरम विष्णु शशिवर्णम चतुर्भुजम प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्ति. This particular mantra we chant for Ganapati, and this particular mantra we also chant for Vishwaksena. But there's another mantra, Vishwaksena Sakalbudo, Gopyodo Senadinatham, बुधचक्रकराकमल शङ्खयुगेन्द्रोदं मेघश्यामं सुमणिमुकुटं पीठवष्टं शुभांगं ध्यायेत देवं विजयकामं सूत्रवत्ते समेतं. This is the mantra for Vishwaksena. Or when we are doing the archan for Vishwaksena, then in the archan of Vishwaksena, one of the name of Vishwaksena is Gaj Ashmukha Sevitaya Namaha. Gaj Ashmukha Sevitaya means the one who has face like Ganapati. The very interesting thing is that all the demigods or demigoddesses, we call them demigoddesses. Actually, they are the Vaishnavas, Acharyas. They have a form in material world and they also have a form in spiritual world. In spiritual world, so Ganapati also has a form as Ganapati in material world, but he has the similar kind of form in Vaikuntha also. So we should never be kind of, doing any kind of discrimination, and we should be very humble in this case. And why I'm saying this, the Samavedi, like Samavedis, they sing differently the Vedas, huh? And Krishna Yajurvedis, they chant mantras differently. Shukla Yajurvedis chant mantra differently. So everybody whosoever belong to different school of thoughts or different Vedas, they chant the mantras differently. ठीक है? This understanding is very essential and very important. And why it is important? Um, because most of you, like Rumit, is getting inspired to become a priest in the future, and Akshar is also inspired to become the priest in the future. So when you are becoming a priest, sometimes the other Brahmins they come, hey, तेरा वेद कौन सा है बे? हाँ? तेरा वेद कौन सा है? तो अगर कोई पूछता है ऐसे, तो at least you should be ready to give them the answer. What Veda I'm following. Some Veda is like everything in a singing way, they sing, right? At least one should know Brahma Yajna. What is Brahma Yajna? That is, Brahma Yajna is actually the first shloka of all the Vedas. Agnimire Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Ritvikam Otaram Rittadatamam Hari Om. Ishe Turje Tva Vayavastu Devo Deva Prapitu Sheshtamaya Karmane Hari Om. Agniyayi Pritiye Nirano Havidatye Niyota Shashti Varishi Hari Om. Shamno Devir Avishtaya Apo Bhavantu Pritiye Shamyo Ravi Shamantuna Hari Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And this is like, chanting the first mantras of all the Vedas. At least we should be starting our prayers with this particular mantra. At least people who got Brahman initiative should be chanting. Anyway, so his father's name was Sri Kumar Deva, and his older brother was Sri Sanatana Goswami, and younger brother was Anupam or Vallabha, who was the father of Jiva Goswami. From childhood, three brothers were very much attached to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Bhagavan. After Sri Rupa and Sanatan finished their education in their youth, they impressed Hussain Shah, the king of Bengal, with their penetrating intelligence, generosity, and other outstanding qualities. The king appointed Sri Sanatana Goswami to be the prime minister in 1514. In the course of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first journey to Braj, the Lord met the brother in the village of Ramkeli. At that time, Sriman Mahaprabhu turned back and returned to Jagannath Puri. And after this meeting, Sri Rupa Goswami's eagerness to attend Krishna increased so much that he quit his government position and left everything. During Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's second journey to Braj, when he was returning to Puri from Sri Vrindavan, he met Sri Rupa Goswami in Prayag and infused his potency in his heart of his beloved Rupa by presenting an unprecedented explanation of Bhakti Ras Tattva. This episode is described in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 19, 136 to 137. प्रभु कहे सुन रूप अब भक्ति रसेर लक्षण सूत्र रूपे कही विस्तार ना होए वर्णन परापर शून्य गभीर भक्ति रस सिंधु तोमाय चखैते तार कही एक बिंदु. Mahaprabhu said, "O my beloved Rupa, I will give you a synopsis of symptoms of Bhakti Rasa. The nectarian oceans of Bhakti Rasa has no limit. It is boundless and fathomless, and so it is impossible to describe in full. From that ocean, I am giving you one drop." For 10 days in Prayag, Mahaprabhu presented to Sri Rupa Goswami an unprecedented exposition of Bhakti Rasa Tattva, and Rupa Goswami has explained all this in his writings, including Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Ujjwal Neelamani, Lalit Madhav, Vidang Madhav, and of course, there's so many books he has written. Rupa Goswami is celebrated for his qualities such as renunciation of household life, humility, and disinclination towards objects of the senses, all of which arose from his profound love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His life is elaborately described in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhakti Mala, and other books. Sri Narottam Das Thakur Mahasaya awarded him the befitting title Sri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapak. He who has established the mission of fulfill the dearmost desire of Sri Chaitanya, Sriman Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him two specific instructions: to re-establish Braj Mandal hidden holy places and to manifest devotional literatures. From Prayag, Sri Rupa Goswami went to Vrindavan, and from there he returned to his home in Bengal to take care of bhakti affairs and see to the education of his nephew, who later became known as Srila Jiva Goswami. After this, he went to Nilachal, where he joined Mahaprabhu. While in Bengal, Srila Rupa Goswami started to write Outline of his two dramas, Vidak Madhav and Lalit Madhav, to pacify his separation from Braj. He had desired to write about the pastimes of Braja and pastimes of Dwarka as one drama. While traveling through Odisha in the town of Satyabhamapur, Sri Satyabhama Devi appeared in a dream and ordered him to present the stories as two separate dramas. In Nilachal, Mahaprabhu directly gave him the same instruction. There is the assembly of his devotees. Sri Mahaprabhu was delighted to hear the compositions that Sri Rupa Goswami recited. Only Rasika devotees will understand the joy they experience. Mahaprabhu infused Sri Rupa Goswami with all potency and appointing him Acharya, sent him to Vrindavan to fulfill his innermost desire. Therefore, Sri Narottam Das Thakur Pashe has written, Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Swam Rupa Gadamayyam Dadati Swa Pradantikam. When will Sri Rupa Goswami, who established within this world the mission of fulfill the dearmost desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, personally gave me the shelter of his feet. The literature written by Sri Rupa Goswami includes Bhakti Rasami Sindhu, Ujjwalin Mani, Lagu, Bhagavatamrita, Lalit Madhav, Vidak Madhav, Nikunj Rahasya, Stavamala, Sri Radha Krishna Gannodesh Deepika, Mathura Mahatmya, Padhyavali, उद्धव संदेश हंस दूत दान कीली कुमुदी कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी तिथि विधि प्रयुक्त साक्षात मंजरी एंड नाटक चंद्रिका Shri Rupa Goswami's instruction on the attainment of Shri Krishna Bhakti Rasa, Shri Utkallika Vallari. My God, what a book. Those who are suffering, desirous of wealth, inquisitive, and searching for knowledge can worship the Supreme Lord Bhagwan if they have sufficient spiritual merit, Sukriti. But unless they achieve a state of consciousness that is thoroughly saturated with the pure mellow of loving devotion to Krishna or Krishna Bhakti Ras Bhavita Mati, they cannot obtain the greed for the happiness that comes with serving Sri Krishna. Not even with the acute Sukriti or pious credits of hundreds of millions of lifetimes. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu has shown the method to attain that greed. Tanam Rupa Charitaja Sukirta Nano. Very important verse. Sab Smrityo Kramena Rasana Manasi Niyojya. Krishnan Brajet Anuragi Jananugami. Kalam Nayed Akhilam Iti Upadesha Saram. A devotee should remove his tongue and mind from all matter unrelated to Shri Krishna and living in Braj Mandal under the guidance of those persons who have deep spontaneous love for him. Engage his senses full time in remembering and glorifying Krishna's name, forms, qualities, and pastimes. This is the essence of all advice. This verse makes it clear that for devotees who are greedy for Brajrasa, Srila Rupa Goswami has recommended living in Sri Vrindavan Dham, residence in Braja, in any manner at all is extolled by the scriptures. However, as instructed both by Srimad Mahaprabhu himself and that personality who established Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's innermost desire, Sri Rupa Goswami merely physically stayed in Braj is not enough to attain Vishuddha Bhakti Rasa, the transcendently sweet relationship religion, spontaneous loving service to Shri Krishna. Therefore, in the above mentioned verse, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu has also described the method of living in Braj. This is also very important, you know. Before coming to Vrindavan, I remember I had so many doubts about living in Vrindavan. I had a very intense desire, but I was always thinking, oh my God, How am I going to stay in Braj? How am I going to stay in Braj? I used to come, I used to talk to people, hey Prabhu, please give me blessing so that I can come to Braj. I was touching the feet of the Brahmins, I was touching the feet of, Vaishnavas, the cows. I have started serving so many Vaishnavas, pujaris, everywhere, wherever I used to go, I used to beg around me, Prabhu, please bless me so that I can come to Vrindavan. Then I was telling that, but I was always in doubt. I always had this doubt in my mind. What am I going to do in Braj? I have seen so many people, they go to Braj and they come back, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. They go and from another gate, they are Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. So, what is the way to stay in Braj? And that time I got this book, Nectar of Instruction. When I got this book, first time when I read the book, it has just surprised me. Mullah, what is it, man? Whatever I have heard from my counselors and from the surrounding, it's completely different. Rupa Goswami is saying something else. Then again, I have read it two times, three times, and four times, and five times. But I was always in the impression that it's Rupa Goswami speaking. But then suddenly somebody said, but you know what, Rohit, you are actually reading the book of Srila Prabhupada. They go, yes, I'm reading the book of Srila Prabhupada. So it means it's not only Rupa Goswami is speaking, it is also Srila Prabhupada is speaking. And then again and again and again, after reading the book for more than 40 times, or maybe I don't know how many times, I lost complete respect for this book. I used to roll the book and used to put it in my jeans. And whenever I'm going to work, I used to put that, suppose you have to wear the blazer or like you have to go wear formals. So that book always used to be in my pocket. If my client is saying that I'll see you after half an hour I'll open the book and I'll read. I'll just contemplate each and every word, each and every the lines. What does it mean to say this? Why is he saying that? So many lines in that book were like so deep. Prabhupada is saying that the real meaning of Mahatma is, or the real Mahatma is, the one who is broad-minded is the real Mahatma. I'm like, the person who is broad-minded, what does it mean to be broad-minded? And then, like, again and again and again, contemplating on this book, I met some sadhus like Maniji Maharaj, Ayana Prabhu, Kulburupa Prabhu, later Mukundada Prabhu, and then they taught me actually, who- so much of so many things I've learned from this book. There's so many things I got to learn from them. And then when I came to Vrindavan, I had it in my mind that boss, no matter what, two things has to be there. One, the shelter of a pure devotee who is more advanced than you, who is much more experienced than you, and who knows Ras Tattva, who will follow or who has a mood like your mood. And second thing, you should have a service in Vrindavan. If you don't have these two things, there's no question of living in Braj. There's no use of staying in Braj. And then people used to say, "Hey Rohit, why you are not taking Diksha? Why you have not taken Diksha? You have so much of knowledge. You talk about so many things which we have not heard. You look like you've read a lot. Why are you not taking Diksha?" I always used to say, if my guru will ask me to leave Vrindavan, I'll have to leave my guru. I just was very blunt on this. Yeah, I'll have to leave my guru, bro. What to do? I cannot leave Vrindavan. That's why I'm not accepting any guru. But anyways, this was another story altogether. But this is what I want to say is Rupa Goswami is saying Vishuddha Bhakti Ras. एक होता है शुद्ध एक होता है विशुद्ध. Merely physically staying in Braj is not enough to attain Vishuddha Bhakti Ras. The transcendentally sweet relationships relished in spontaneous, loving service to Sri Krishna. Therefore, in the above mentioned verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has also described the method for living in Braj. One will not be able to attain Unnat Ujjwal Ras, Maya Prema Bhakti, pure love in the most excellent, exalted, and radiant conjugal mellow that is practiced and preached by Rupa Goswami. In other words, one will not be able to become a Rupa Nuga, a follower of Rupa Goswami, even by following those who are dedicated to Vedi Bhakti. The what to speak of following those who are deceitful, who use deceitful bhajan to camouflage sense enjoyments such as eating, sleeping, amusement, or acquisition, becoming an object of veneration and celebrity. The only way to attain this most exalted prem bhakti is to accept the guidance of Rasik spiritual master who follows those of Sri Rajendra Nandan associates who are a part of this intimate Braj pastime and to constantly practice under sorry, under these gurus. Therefore, mere physical presence in Braj does not qualify one to be a true Brajvasi. ठीक है, some people speak on behalf or on the basis of their brow. Oh, when you're in Braj, no matter what, at least you're in Braj, पढ़े रहो, कृपा हो जाएगी. होता है ब्रज की महिमा के बारे में हम कम नहीं कह सकते कुछ भी बट स्टिल अगर इफ यू आर रूपा नुगास rather residence in Braj is successful rather residence in Braj is successful when one fully dedicates his mind and the sentiments of his heart to continuously remain under the guidance of our devotee who are absorbed in Brajas. To establish this very principle, Shivan Mahaprabhu referred to Srila Sarup Damodar Goswami as a pure Brajvasi, even though he never, even for a single moment, physically resided in Braj. Sarup Damodar met Mahaprabhu and he stayed with Mahaprabhu throughout his life. He never been to Braj. But Mahaprabhu said he's a pure Brajvasi. There is another topic to be remembered in this beginning stage. The practitioner is engrossed in many unwanted habits and vices. This is not fit. Thus, it is not fit that such a neophyte engage uh, in practice of exclusively contemplating smaran pastimes of the Lord. So, by doing so on the pretext of doing solitary bhajan, he could simply foster lethargy. Srila Rupa Goswami is a preceptor or the acharya of Aprakrit Rasa who has taught by his personal example how to relish these divine mellows. He established the methods for performing spontaneous devotion or rag bhajan, transgressing this method and endeavoring to display so-called topmost devotion to Lord Hari is nothing but a wicked contrivance. Such an attempt is impertinent, unrestrained, offensive, and inauspicious, and will bring about the destruction of society. We must always remember the instruction of our worshipable Param Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, Kirtana Prabhave, Smaran Hoive, Se Kale Bhajan Nirjan Sambhava. One must engage in Kirtan loud and glorification of the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Lord. This Kirtan will automatically cause one to remember Shri Krishna and his attributes, such as Kirtan induced remembrance, makes solitary bhajan possible. So, what is required is that sadhakas who wants to attain a particle of the bliss of service that is intrinsic or unnat ujjwal bhakti ras, the most excellent radiant rasa of conjugal love that Srila Rupa Goswami longs for should become free from ulterior desires, yani anya vilashita shunya, and endeavoring constantly with a genuine kindness towards Krishna, Anukula Krishna Anushilanam Mai Bhakti should cultivate the most exalted devotion, Uttam Bhakti, in the company of affectionate like minded devotees. There was one Acharya, I told you before so many times this story. Um This story I've already told before, but some people are new. There was Advaita Das Babaji Maharaj in Barsana. Long time ago. Okay? Long time ago, 80, 90 years back. So he did not do much bhajan in his life. Bhajan in the sense, like he did very intense bhajan. He did not do any prachar or anything. Like he didn't have much disciples also. And was not very famous and all, but was very intense and very secret sadhu. So he did bhajan, but didn't expose his bhajan to other people. Anyway, so what happened? When he was leaving his body, he didn't give much instructions to anybody because there was nobody to write, what he wanted to share and all. But at least he told his disciples, first thing, never ever go and eat utsav food in the temple or in temples. Means whenever there is a feast, don't go because mostly sponsored by people who have the karmic mentality and you have to bear the karmas of those people. As a Virat sadhu, you're not supposed to eat. Okay? Then the second instruction he gave, whenever there's a kirtan going on, always think that your Guru Maharaj is doing kirtan and Nitai assisting Nitai Prabhu. And when you're doing kirtan, you should be always thinking that you're actually assisting your Guru and Nityanand Prabhu so that they both can dance together to make Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dance in the consciousness. Right? The third instruction was very important. He said, no matter how exalted the sadhu of different sampradaya is, don't associate with that sadhu too much. Just serve and just get out of him. He said, I one time happened to do one service, some service for 6, 7 years for one Baba who was the Siddh Sant of Shantras. And after associating with him for 6, 7 years, I got this inclination towards Shantras. And when I came back after he left his body, when I came back to the ashram, I've understood that I'm not able to meditate on the Leelas. Then it took me 4, 5 years of continuous reading of Rupa Goswami and Raghunathas Goswami scriptures. And they brought my bhav back on track. So why is saying that? He's saying that one should not try to associate with anybody, just anybody. He is mentioning here. He only the Uttam Bhakti in the company of an affectionate, like-minded devotees. This like-minded is the essence, huh? The like-minded is the bullet point in the entire thing. Anukulan Krishna Anushilanam Mai Bhakti, when who can perform? The Uttam Bhakta, who is like-minded. You may have Uttam Bhakt, Vaishnava, who is Sakya, Sakha of Krishna. If you're associating with him, you're gone. You will never be able to get the mercy of Rupa Manjari. Anyways, uh, I don't know how big it is. Maybe we should just read tomorrow, the rest of the thing. Today we got to know something about this Vedas and all, which is very unusual, right? Anyways, Hare Krishna. Any question, any doubt, any comment? No comment? Nothing?
No, Prabhu. So Prabhu, one question still.
Hmm.
That you mentioned that the association with sadhu from Santarasa. Is it your experience, Prabhu, or is
No,
it?
no, मेरा नहीं है. No, no, मेरा नहीं है.
Okay.
It is a, uh, it's a, uh, it's the experience of Advaita Das Babaji Maharaj, who resided in Braj in Barsana for 40, 50, 60 years back. ठीक है?
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah, so he said that. Prabhu, I'll tell you our what our experiences are. Actually, I just said if you may end up in associating with the person of some different bhav, and then you will remain aloof from the mercy of Rupa Manjari. You know, that's what I was trying to say. So our experience is like, very, it's not very, like we can, every day we can experience it. Very small thing, huh? I was very fond of watching cricket match at one point of time in my life. Then I came to Krishna consciousness. I mean, when I started working in 2005, 6, 7, that time I used to watch very, like, upar se match. And then what happened? In 2007, when I joined Krishna consciousness, I didn't have time to watch any cricket match. And I was free from this mindset of watching cricket match. No problem. अब क्या हुआ कि in 2025, after almost 17 or 18 years, my cousin, he was getting married. And he said, Bhaiya, well, I went to his house after 24 years. 24 years, just imagine. He was very happy to have me in his house. And he said, Bhaiya, please ऊपर जाके बैठो थोड़ी देर के लिए. ऊपर गया, there was a very big screen and the cricket match was going on, IPL. IPL, I don't know, recently they won one, something they won, I don't know what it was it. But that was a semi-final test. And, I watched that for about 15, 20 minutes. And the cricket match was such an addiction. I didn't even know the players, nothing. But since it was India's match, I watched it. And then when I watched it, after that, the match was over. Downstairs we went, everybody was talking about match. They were asking me a question. I said, yeah, yeah, he played very well, very well. Next day in the marriage, Prabhuji, tomorrow, they were talking, and then again the point came, day after tomorrow is the final. I did his wedding ceremony. I came back and I was just lying on my bed, and then immediately I got a pop up in the family group. The match has started, and then I opened a match in the phone, and I watched the entire match. I was watching it. I was chanting and I was watching it, but I was also laughing at my mind that how tricky you are, huh? How you trapped me after 18 years. I'd never seen match, any cricket match, like from the beginning till end, and you had made me watch the entire match. How difficult and complicated a man this mind is. So the association of, not even association of, just by being with those materialistic people, if I can get influenced, how easy it is for simple sadhaka to get carried away. So we need to be very careful in terms of associating with the Vaishnavas. सो जाओ घर में, no need to go anywhere, but associate with only who has similar mood like you and your Guru Maharaj. समझे जी ललित प्रभु?
Yes, Prabhu. So, so Prabhu, one more question. Sometimes, like the external mood of a devotee seems like he's worshiping Lord with Aishwarya Bhav, but the internal mood might be different. Because like our senses are not perfect. So, Prabhu, how to identify that the devotee or the person that we are associating has the same mood as ourselves
Very,
and Guru
very
Maharaj?
beautiful question, Prabhu. This is like, the most amazing question you have asked. First of all, we are not here to judge anybody who is deep and who is on the layer, on the top of the layer. We don't know. We are no one to judge anyone, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
Here, whenever we're talking about associating with the Sujati and Snigdha Vaishnava, it only means that we have to have the association of the like-minded people, right? In
Yes.
that case, if we are not getting anybody, the best person to get associated with is our acharyas through their books, right? Through their books. ठीक?
Yes.
Acha, I don't know whether you have noticed it or not. when we were not devotees and when we were fun loving people, So we automatically used to meet with people who were inclined towards cricket. Or suppose if you are playing snooker, then you will meet people who used to play snooker, right?
Yes.
Whenever you have a certain mindset, now you create an aura around you. And the other people also create an aura around themselves. And whenever you have the similar kind of mindset, automatically Krishna makes an arrangement and he makes you meet such people. Got the point? We don't
Yes,
have to
Prabhu.
judge anybody. Nobody's depth, nobody, nobody's sincerity, nobody's regulation, nobody's bhakti. You don't have to judge all that. Forget about it. You should be concentrating more on the fact that how Krishna, the Chaitanya Guru sitting in my heart, or when the Chaitanya Guru sitting in my heart will make me fall or make me connect with the person, who has the same Chaitanya Guru sitting in his heart and make me feel inspired to follow him. Got the point?
Yes, Prabhu.
Never judge.
Now
Huh?
it's clear.
And you know what? You live in Canada, and you're living in such an environment where you need the association of Vaishnavas. You don't have to check who is Sujati or who is Snigdh, because you need the Vaishnavas for two major reasons. One is serving the Vaishnavas, right?
Yes.
Second, associating with the Vaishnavas. For Shravan, Kirtan, Vishnu Smaran. And remember, in Navada Bhakti, Smaran, Shravana, Kirtana, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, or Vandanam.
Mm.
All these seven things can be done in the association of anybody, right?
Yes.
Saksham, Dasyam, or Atma Nivedanam is not the game which you play with your physical body. भगवान के साथ मित्रता साक्षात्व and then dasastva and atmanivedanam, all these things are settled. They cannot be done with the gross body, right? So at least
Yes.
seven things you should enjoy with the association of whosoever is there around you, because you're a beggar, you cannot be a chooser. Right?
That's true, Prabhu.
Uh,
Yes.
Anybody else? Okay. So whatever discussion we had with Radhisham Gunadai, Krishna Balaram, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev, Anand Koti Vaishnavin, to give us the blessings so that we can always remain situated in our soul as a servant of Krishna and worship the divine couple with our mind, body, and words and attain the goal of life by the mercy of Rupa Goswami. That is Radha Dasyam. Vanchakal Patru Vaishya Kripa Sundhu Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo